Two Cars in Every Garage and Three Eyes on Every Fish was first broadcasted on November 1st, 1990, written by Sam Simon and John Swartzwelder and directed by Wes Archer. In the episode, after Bart catches a three-eyed fish in a river downstream of the Springfield nuclear power plant, the plant is inspected and found to have 342 violations, which would cost $56 million to rectify.
$56 million!
Don't hit me, sir.
In order for his plant to be avoided from shutting down, Mr. Burns decides to run for governor. After a hard campaign which sees Burns rise from being universally despised to running neck and neck with incumbent Mary Bailey. Gee, that hasn't happened before in politics. It is decided that Burns will have a dinner with a random employee the night before the election, and through the power of comedic timing, Homer is chosen, much to Marge's chagrin. Marge serves the three-eyed fish to Burns for dinner, who cannot eat it and as a result loses the election. Gee, I wish elections in real life could go this way, where somebody just does something like that and then their entire career is over. But when Mr. Burns tries to eat this fish, and just the fact that he spits it out the way he does, just the way this scene is shot is just pure comedy gold.
Believe it! He's blown it for sure.
Ruined before it hit the ground.
What's funny about this episode is that it was originally intended to be the season premiere, but because Bart was so popular at the time, they instead used Bart Gets an F as the season premiere episode, which eventually paid off in the end. The episode actually did win, this episode in particular did win an Environmental Media Award in 1991 for being the best television episode of the year with an environmental message. And since then, this first episode aired, the three-eyed fish Blinky has been mentioned several times in news articles regarding nuclear waste and mutation, and since then, Blinky has consistently shown up in The Simpsons series over the years, including The Simpsons movie, and even showed up in the very first episode of Futurama in a little bit of a cameo. The strangest thing about this episode is that it actually did kind of come true, because there was a three-eyed fish that was caught in 2011 in Cordoba, Argentina, near a local nuclear power plant, and the fish was a seawolf, and even though it didn't resemble Blinky besides the three eyes, they sent this fish to a radiation test and determined whether the mutation came from being exposed to the water from the nuclear plant. Out of all the stuff The Simpsons has been able to predict and get right over the years, who would have ever guessed that a three-eyed fish would actually be one of those ones that would actually come true? I mean, just pure is what a world we live in, man. Like, life, what's the saying? Life comes at you fast. I don't even know if that applies here, but you get the idea. But enough about him. Let's talk about this episode. I really like it. I don't think it was a laugh-out-loud riot, but it's a smart, funny, satirical episode on politics and environmentalism, more than likely the first episode to really take their jabs at politics like this, but don't quote me on that. And this is just a good comfort food episode after you've been through like an election. Like, I know the last two elections we've had, the midterm 2 years ago and then the 2020 election, one of the first things I did after voting was watch this episode, and it's just like it's just really funny how you watch this after you vote. It's just like, this is exactly what it feels like, man. Like, this is exactly what the political wolf feels like whenever you do it's in the election cycle feels like. But the major problem I think the episode does carry overall is that there aren't that many good laugh out loud jokes like there are in a lot of the previous episodes. But at the same time, there are still a lot of very funny things. Like, I love the jab at how an anti-campaign team works.
Now, here's the problem as I see it. While Governor Bailey is beloved by all, 98% of the voters rate you as despicable or worse. That's why we've assembled the finest campaign team money can buy. This is your speechwriter, your joke writer, your spin doctor, your makeup man, and your personal trainer.
Oh.
Their job to turn this Mr. Burns into this.
Why are my teeth showing like that?
Because you're smiling.
Ah, excellent. This is exactly the kind of trickery I'm paying you for. But how do we turn your average Joe six-pack against Mary Bailey?
With this team of investigators, your muckraker,
How do you
your
do?
character assassin,
Nice to meet you.
your mudslinger,
Ah.
your garbologist.
Hello.
Their job is to turn Mary Bailey from this into this.
Visual aids help so much. Thank you.
By the way, how odd is it to hear Mr. Burns sound much different than what he sounds like today? Everybody else on the show sounds about the same as they did 25 years, it's almost 30 years ago, over 35 years ago, I should say. But Mr. Burns, there is such a difference in that voice compared to what he was in 1990, and yet it's the same actor in that role. Keep in mind, this isn't the same actor from the first season as Mr. Burns. No, this is Harry Shearer now as Mr. Burns. So there is clearly a 35-year difference between 1990 and how he sounds today, especially nowadays. But the opening bit at the plant as Burns is trying to bribe the inspector is great. I love the little references to It's a Wonderful Life, Charles Darwin, and Citizen Kane. They're all nicely done. All the hilarious moments in this episode that are very funny lead to that great payoff at the end of the episode. It's just the brilliance of this final climax is just so damn good. That 5 seconds from the time Burns spits out that piece of fish to when it hits the floor is just so brilliant, and how quick somebody's reputation can be tarnished. That's brilliant satire right there, and it's true in every sense. Unless your name is Donald Trump, but that's a completely different topic altogether. While the episode introduces some of the show's more iconic minor characters, 2 Cars in Every Garage and 3 Eyes on Every Face is an overall good episode, mainly focusing on the story and those few bits of funny comedy thrown in there. Like I said, the biggest problem is that there isn't really a whole lot of laugh-out-loud moments in here like some of the past episodes, but sometimes you really don't need those to make a great episode. If you've got a good story and a good payoff at the end, which this episode definitely does, it makes it all worth it in the end. It's a worthy episode, but not if you're looking for the truly laugh-out-loud episodes of the show. But hey, it's a nice little comfort food thing to watch after you just got back from the polls. Great episode. What more can I say?
The latest polls indicate Burns' popularity has plummeted to earth like so much half-chewed fish.
You must have a few tricks left up your sleeve. Smithers, boil some coffee. We're not licked yet.
Yes, we are. Come on, boys. The old guy's finished.
Wait! Come back! You can't do this to me! I'm Charles Montgomery Burns! Smithers, tip over this table for me.
Yes, sir.
Make them stop.
Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns.
Shut up and wreck something!